Hello, beautiful, light-filled souls. So great to connect with you today. I want to let you know that I'll be posting a new interview with a near-death experiencer who died in his 20s, much like me. I'm excited to share this story with you. I also have a guest that I'm going to go live with on Friday, the 20th at 2 p.m. Natalie Jones is an amazing person who is an energy worker. And she also has this book that I use somewhat as an oracle. I just flip it open and I love connecting with the wisdom on the pages from this book. There's a lot to discuss, so I'll just post her links below. I also want to let you know that I'm hosting a writing workshop. So, do we all have to start podcasts? Do we all have to write books and talk about our spiritual experiences? No, but it is one way to spread consciousness. It is one way to put out more experiences from the light in a way that connects with people, because people all around the globe are going to be connecting to things at different times, and they are going to resonate with something that helps them in that moment. So, if you are coming from this place of how can I serve the world? How can I best help the world? Is it simply through meditating? Is it simply through praying for this world? Is it simply through holding the highest vibration I can and keeping myself in that flow of divinity from God and sending that out to others without saying one thing publicly, without writing one book, with just embodying that light? For some people, that is the purest path, that it doesn't matter what they're doing as long as they are in alignment with that flow of God in whatever it is they're doing. And that is admirable. Enjoying our life is something that near-death experiencers often talk about. I mean, I enjoy the simple pleasure of life so much more because life was almost taken away from me. That near-death experience showed me that I wouldn't have the physical. I came back and I loved certain things about the earth, the experience of being alive, food, you name it. I just loved the sensual pleasure of this world. So I think on some level, enjoyment is a beautiful thing, but service can be simply energetic. It can simply be sending a high, loving, light-filled energy to the people in your vicinity, to the people around the planet, and then connecting with whatever you do, connecting that light to it. So it doesn't matter necessarily. I get a lot of calls from people about, purpose. And right now the world is in a little bit of a holding spot, a holding place, and we are developing and we are getting so much deeper and so much clearer about what is important. So if the answers aren't coming very quickly, don't worry about it. Maybe you are germinating and things are going to unfold for you at a different time and in a much more profound way. Kind of like, have you ever taken a break from relationships and done a deep dive into yourself? And then when you get into the next relationship, it doesn't even resemble your past because you've done all this work inside of yourself. That's kind of what I think a lot of humanity is doing. We're taking a break from the way things have been, and we're imagining, how can things be and how can I bring that highest energy to it? So if you feel called to write about spirituality, I would love to give away all my secrets and my tips. And I'm doing that in a 3-part workshop starting in November on the Sundays, the last 2 Sundays of November at 1 p.m. and the first Sunday of December at 1 p.m. Central. I really just want to give away all my writing tips, all my expertise, and help you tell the best possible story that you can. And I'll give you one tip here just for anyone who does want to write about their lives and their spiritual journey. Writers tend to fall into 2 camps. So they're either underwriters or overwriters. So say you write a project, you're so excited, you completed it, and it is worth celebrating. You wrote a book. Well, you have to rewrite it. Sorry to tell you, no matter who you are, you might have to rewrite it 6 times. You might have to rewrite some chapters 10 times. You might have to rewrite the entire thing to make it really clear and good. So if you are an underwriter, you probably need to add more specific details. You might look at snapshots from your life and really bring certain moments to life with imagery. If you are writing about spiritual experiences, you'll have to talk with people and say, hey, does this sentence help you see what I'm describing? Do you get it? Do you see it? And you might have to add a lot more details to your writing. If you are an overwriter, and I fall into this category, so I can give you specifics on that, you probably have side stories and all kind of details, and you can just write forever. Words just flow out of you. Well, you have to cut a lot. And what you might find is that there's a backbone of a story, and you had too many side stories that need to be cut. You have too many details. So you need some details. So if you're describing a person, then saying they have a roaring laugh and a mustache, that might be enough. But if you describe the whole person, then your reader's like, come on, get to the next scene. Like, I don't need every little detail about the cobblestones of the street. And, we have a story to tell here. Move on. There are some details that, only your mother might love, but your reader is like, okay, this is just self-aggrandizing. Let's move on and get to the real story. So I would love to help you, since I'm a creative writing professor and I have analyzed writing and looked at writing and critiqued writing for so long. And I just want to give away tips, and I'd love it if you would join. However, I'm also someone who wrote about a deeply spiritual experience. Would I do it differently now? Yes. So I probably would, but at that moment in my life, and 2016, 17, when I was writing that book, that was the exact book that I needed to write for myself at that time, to claim my story at that throat chakra level, to heal moments in my heart, and to just explode into this world. That's what I needed. That was the truth that I needed to claim. And, if you've read my book, it's a little bit controversial in some ways, and there is a little bit of release in writing that book. So I do it differently now, but I still honor the journey. Wherever you are, you just honor where you are at that time and know that guidance is there to help you. That's what astounded me. I didn't realize as I started writing that I'd be connected to spirits on the other side who would help me, that I'd have real guidance from the other side in that process of writing. So even if you don't want to share your work publicly, it is such a cool experience to know that you can connect through writing to guidance and to really feel that energy come through you. And for people who occasionally people are afraid of talking about angels or guides, then by all means, don't worry about it. Connect to that energy of God, connect to that highest vibration that puts you in the light. And writing is one way to do that, because that's something about that moment of creation activates something in your brain that calls on something higher and says, hey, I'm here. Let's make this work. And it's a challenging journey. I won't lie. The guidance sometimes comes in because it's so hard at times and you want to give up and you're like, oh, this is too challenging. I can't do it. So a lot of people stop too soon when they're writing. They finish the project and they think, did it, done, and they don't take the time to revise and revise and revise and rewrite and get 12 friends to look at it. Some people overthink it, and at some point you just have to put it out there, and no one is 100% happy with what they put out there, but there's still beauty in what they have shared and what they want to add to this world. And so this is an interesting time. There's so much content, obviously, on YouTube and through podcasts. So I'm deeply grateful for everyone who listens to my interviews and subscribes to my channel. But I'm also deeply grateful for anyone who was inspired by my story and thought, hey, if she can write that book, I can too. And I want to help you. I want to help you become more successful on your writing journey and really love the process and really, really just dig in and find that guidance to help you tell a story in a way that benefits you and benefits others. So live in that light. That's the main message of this video, is no matter what you do, whether you write, no matter what you are doing in this life, live in that highest light. Live in a love that gives love to this planet. And it's a great time to be alive. Thank you for listening, and may you be blessed.